The last known thylacine died in captivity at Hobart Zoo in 1936, and in 1986 the species was declared officially extinct. But with the help of scientists at Tasmania's University of Launceston using DNA recovered from a preserved pup, there could well be a second chance for the thylacine, Australia's iconic Tasmanian tiger. De-extinction projects like this are not new in the world of science. In the year 1987, a project began in South Africa to breed the quagga, a zebra-like creature, back into existence, with scientists carefully selecting and pairing zebras with the high levels of quagga-shared DNA in order to create a genetic facsimile of the long-gone creature. A multinational team of scientists is working at this moment to revive Siberia's woolly mammoth, and in 2013, researchers here in Australia were able to produce cloned embryos of an extinct frog. We spoke to University of Launceston's William Hubert to learn more.
There's quite a few things that make the thylacine a perfect candidate for a program like this. They're an animal the public loves, and they're in many ways a species that Tasmania needs at the moment. You may be aware that the Tasmanian devil population is currently suffering great pressure from a contagious facial cancer epidemic we still don't completely understand from a scientific perspective, and the thylacine will make an excellent replacement, or supplement rather, as a proven and native carnivorous keystone species. This kind of native biodiversity is what the colonisation process has harmed greatly in Tasmania, not only with the loss of the thylacine due to excessive, uncontrolled trapping for furs, but with the loss of such creatures as the Tasmanian emu, which the thylacine preyed on, and quite possibly many species we never had the chance to know about. The other compelling thing about the thylacine is that it is, or was rather, very genetically similar to the Tasmanian devil. That's important because once you've developed a viable embryo, which we've managed, you need to have a uterus in which to have the embryo develop. And that's where Odessa comes in.
Odessa is the name Dr. Hubert's team has given to the Tasmanian devil that is perhaps the most important link in this project. Scientists remove the eggs of the Tasmanian devils from its fallopian tubes, then nuclei are destroyed using ultraviolet light, removing any remaining Tasmanian devil DNA. The egg is then injected with repaired DNA recovered from a preserved thylacine pup loaned by the Australian Museum. These altered eggs are then injected into the Tasmanian devil's fallopian tubes, artificially impregnating her. Scientists monitor Odessa 24 hours a day, paying careful attention to all aspects of her health to ensure the best possible chance of a successful pregnancy. With just 5 days of an estimated 3-week gestation complete, nothing is certain, but all signs are positive.
Certainly the success of the project in the short term depends vastly on what happens with Odessa. There's something exciting about using an animal which is so close to extinction itself, and which has suffered extinction before in the mainland, to foster the revival of a species that we thought was lost to history.
Not everyone approves of the de-extinction program. Tobias Sparatakos, an environmental activist and graduate student of biology, has formed a group opposing the continued funding of the thylacine revival research.
I think there's a lot of bias in people's heads about what science is, or what science looks like. And particularly in my field, science often looks like heading out to the wilderness and getting cold and wet with a camera and a notepad, or inspecting an animal that's been rescued by a wildlife rehabber. But what people think science is men in white coats in a lab doing sort of impressive-looking esoteric things. And I think that's why they like the thylacine thing. But the thylacine thing, people don't realise how much that costs, and how many people are questioning the ethics of it, and sort of just how massively inefficient it is. They talk about it like it's a diversity thing, to save the Tasmanian devils. But there's just so many better ways to go about doing that. I'm talking about, in the field research into this facial tumour disease, or the ongoing cost of medical care, or even just things like buying up land to ensure adequate habitat. We don't need Jurassic Park. What we need is people coming together and pooling their skills and their resources and their enthusiasm to protect this beautiful animal and beautiful wilderness.
Dr. Hubert feels these criticisms are misinformed.
It's not like Jurassic Park. It's a bit like Jurassic Park, but it's not harmful. We're talking about a known quantity, about not just conservation, but restoration. This sort of research opens up so many avenues in genetic science and could do so much for the landscape and the biodiversity of Tasmania.